Now we will go through real life examples of currency appreciation and currency revaluation. Firstly, the real life example of currency appreciation. From around 2003 to 2008, Australia experienced significant currency appreciation. That is, the value of their currency appreciated in Australia. Why? Because there was high GDP growth, there was booming mining sector, and there were robust exports. That is, good exports, good in good quantity. The exports were there of coal and iron ore. It was having those reserves, and so it was exporting. Political environment in that country was very stable. The interest rate policy of the Australian central bank was also very favorable. So all it resulted into the appreciation of the currency of Australia during the period 2003 to 2008. Now we will understand the case of currency revaluation of China's yuan currency. China's yuan currency from 2005 to 2010. Prior to 2005, China was adopting the policy of fixed exchange rate system of its currency vis-a-vis the US currency. That is, it used to peg its currency, that is yuan, with respect to US dollar. That is, it was taking steps to ensure that the value of its currency remains stable with respect to US dollar. Then, facing the pressure from US and other trading countries, because the China was having a very big trade surplus. So, facing pressure from US and other trading partners, the China government in 2005 abandoned the policy of fixing its abandoned the policy of pegging its yuan against US dollar. So when it's abandoned the policy of pegging yuan against US dollar, then the currency of its China revalued. Initially, it was around 2.1% when it initially increased the value of its currency, and between 2005 and 2010 the currency was revalued many times by the Chinese government, and during the whole period of this 2005 to 2010, about 30% appreciation in the value of currency of China was there. Approximately 30% increase in the value of yuan was there. When the value of its currency has increased, it had its own impacts. It reduced the trade surplus with respect to several countries. That is, China was exporting in large number to certain countries and importing less. So it reduced the trade surplus position with respect to many countries. It also increased the imports because the cheaper imports helped Chinese people to control inflation, and it also improved the standard of living of Chinese. Increased imports. Exports were adversely affected in case of currency evaluation by China because the exports became costlier for the foreigners, and those industries which were exporting goods to, in other words, the export oriented units were badly affected, and there were job losses also in export oriented sectors. Then there was also pressure on the exporters to improve their performance and to concentrate on innovation so that they can remain competitive in the market. So we have understood the real life examples of currency appreciation and currency revaluation. Thanks for watching. Now the topic before us is currency gains appreciation versus revaluation. Now first is, what is currency appreciation? Currency appreciation is the increase in the value of a currency relative to other currencies driven by market forces. Market forces means the demand and supply of the currency or other market conditions decide the value of the currency, and if there is increase in the value of the currency due to market forces, it is currency appreciation. But if there is a government order or the central bank order, and by that order the value of the currency increases, it is currency revaluation. It is the official increase in the value of the currency. Cause currency appreciation is due to the increased demand for the currency. If the foreign investors make demand for the currency of a country, it results into the increase in the value of the currency. It is currency appreciation. If the economic outlook of the country increases, the investors may decide to make investment in that country. Then the demand for that currency will increase and it will result into the increase in the value of the currency. On the other hand, the government may decide to strengthen its currency. So it is the policy decision of the government which is behind the revaluation. In the case of revaluation, market forces do not come into play. Next is speed. In the case of currency appreciation, the speed of increase in the value of the currency may be slow or rapid depending on the market conditions, that is due to demand and supply or the economic outlook of the country. The appreciation in the value of the currency may be slow or rapid. But in the case of revaluation of currency, it is a one-time event. The government may decide that it is increasing the value of its currency by say 10%. It is a one-time event. The government has decided today and it will have immediate impact on the exchange rate as has been decided by the government or the central bank of the country. Next is transparency. In the case of currency appreciation, market forces determine the exchange rate. That is, demand and supply determine mostly the exchange rate. So it is generally transparent. But in the case of revaluation of currency, the government or the central bank of the country publicly makes announcement about the exchange rate. Next is exchange rate system. Currency appreciation occurs in floating exchange rate system, and revaluation generally occurs in countries with fixed exchange rate system. That is, in those countries where the government is taking steps to maintain the fixed exchange rate between the currencies, between their domestic currency and the other currencies, then in those countries currency revaluation generally occurs. We will be separately uploading the courses on the floating exchange rate, fixed exchange rate system in detail. You can also view the same. Next is control. In the case of currency appreciation, it is not directly controlled by government or the central bank of the country, because the market forces of demand and supply mostly decide the increase in the currency appreciation. How much increase should be there? It is decided by the market forces of demand and supply. But in the case of revaluation, the revaluation is controlled and implemented by government or central bank. That is, the central bank or the government makes announcement that this will be the revaluation of the currency. So it is controlled and implemented by the government and central bank. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.